Coach Ryan here. Hey, I want to take a minute to explain the importance of a strength program for your athlete. I get lots of questions all the time about what exercises I can do to increase my vertical. That's usually the number one question I get. But I wanted to make sure that we understood that there are elements of having a good strength program for your athlete that are so much more important than just their vertical. And while the vertical is important, it's something that needs to be built up too. So here we have kind of a diagram of how I would consider this the foundation of your body's ability to be an athlete. So the very foundational element is having the proper mobility, which most females do. They don't usually struggle with that. They're more flexible than males. Stability is a part where they often struggle. They don't have the baseline strength, all those little stabilizer muscles to just move effectively and most efficiently as possible. Once we kind of accomplish that, then we go into like more of your typical strength program. Now that they can move and their joints can move properly, they can do the movements properly and safely, they have a baseline strength, then you can get into more like weighted strength exercise, harder strength exercises. And the main purpose of all that is to develop the control, which is really needed to effectively get into your power phase. And this is all the flashy stuff that everyone wants to skip to, everyone sees out there on Instagram or whatever. And those exercises are great, but they're not as important as doing these first, right? You need to do these first and work your way up to that. So I brought in my friend Paige, former coworker. She's a great strength coach, works here at Rooted in Movement, to help me with this, just to explain a little bit how strength ultimately creates athleticism, having more of it.
Yeah, I think Ryan did a fantastic job. Again, thinking about the shape of this pyramid, understanding that this is your base. You can't have this, you can't have the top of the pyramid or the power if you don't have this big base support underneath it. It will crumble, or it just is that we see these videos, or maybe some people on Instagram or wherever we're seeing this, that we haven't seen the many, many years that they've worked towards developing the stability and the strength in order to produce their power. What we can't see with our eyes is maybe where they're leaking. A lot of times we can do a really good vertical jump, for instance, but we don't realize that we might actually be leaking energy maybe from the knees or from the core, and we don't realize that we could actually get higher if we just worked on training that core stabilization. If we worked on training the stabilization of a hip, we could actually stand on one foot, therefore being able to change direction a lot better. So again, this idea that we actually have to resist movement, and that's how we develop control, resist movement in a plane of motion. And then on top of that, starting to create adaptations and changes of the muscle, grow the muscle, make the muscles bigger, so that way when we go back and we jump, we are jumping higher because we have more muscle behind it, right? So I can't wait to show you guys some wonderful exercises that are going to be easy to do at home on your own.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We're going to shoot up more videos where we'll go through some of these exercises, and hope you enjoy.